Very good evening to you on this 22nd day of August 2023. Trust you're doing well. So much lined up for you tonight, including this. Reprieve for Pastor Ezekiel Odero. Court temporarily suspends directive to deregister his church. President Ruto underscores the importance of maintaining the Ma culture as a way to promote tourism in the country. Chaos and running battles witnessed in Kirinyaga County as rowdy youth attack women representative Jane Njeri. And Kiambu County government partners with organizations in efforts to empower orphans in Ruiru. Welcome to the broadcast. Steven Sobiambo is our sign language interpreter tonight. My name is ODIDA, and we have also a discussion tonight on the education funding model in universities. I will be joined by student leaders in studio to discuss how this funding model has actually affected maybe implications on students later on in the broadcast. We're live on our social media platforms at KUTV Kenya, that is on X and YouTube. We begin. Now, High Court has temporarily suspended a directive to deregister Pastor Ezekiel Odero's New Life Church in Kilifi County, paving way for him to continue with activities in the church. Pastor Ezekiel's church was one of 6 churches affected by the recent deregistration, by the Registrar of Societies. In his ruling, Justice Jairus Nga suspended the deregistration exercise with the aim of allowing the defendants to make submissions over the Gazette notice, as Lynette Maina reports.
It is a win for Kilifi-based preacher Ezekiel Odero, following a directive issued by the High Court Judge Jairus Nga to suspend a decision gazetted on the 18th of August by the Registrar of Societies to deregister 5 churches, inclusive of the New Life Prayer Center and Church. According to Justice Nga, the decision will allow the applicants to challenge the Gazette notice, which intends to deregister the New Life Prayer Center and Church, and also determine whether the process leading to deregistration was consistent with the law. New Life Prayer Center and Church leadership, constituting Chairman Franklin Kilonzo, Treasurer Alice Nafulawanyama, and Pastor Ezekiel Odero, argued that the deregistration notice was published, yet they did not receive any notice of their intention against the church, adding that the registrar failed to avail the church file in a bid to file returns. This is not the first time that Pastor Ezekiel has been involved in a legal battle with the Registrar of Societies. In 2021, the court ordered the registrar to reinstate the church registration after failing to file returns. Other churches facing the axe include Good News International Ministries, Helicopter of Christ Church, Theophilus Church, and King's Outreach Church. The case will be mentioned on September 20th, 2023. Lynette Maina, KUTV.
President William Ruto has ordered for the transfer of Amboseli National Park to the management of the county government of Kajiado, where it is situated, in a bid to reward the hosting communities who have maintained the national reserve. Altogether, Ruto has also ordered that revenues from national parks be shared between the national government and hosting county governments. President Ruto said this while attending the Ma Cultural Festival at Sankararo in Narok County.
President William Ruto showed up for the occasion in full Maasai regalia, swinging in the fashion of the Ma to join the community in celebrating the Maasai heritage. At the event held in the wilderness of Masai Mara, Narok County, calls for preservation of the celebrated heritage dominated and perturbed. Top of them, President William Ruto's order to expedite the process of transfer of Amboseli Game Reserve to the management of its host, Kajiado County.
Kusema ya kwamba kwa sababu ile shamba ilikuwa ni trust land ya jamii ya Wamasai, pia basi ile Amboseli ifanyike isimamiwe na county ya Kajiado.
The president joined the Ma community in celebrating the recognition by the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO of 3 Maasai traditions, Enkipaata, which is the introduction of boys to initiation, Iunoto, the shaving of Morans as they join adulthood, and Olngesher, the meat-eating ceremony that marks this transition from Moranism to full adulthood.
Na leo mimi nimekuja hapa kutangaza vile vile ya kwamba UNESCO ambayo ni idara ya United Nations wametambua culture ya Wamasai.
Ni wajulishe ndugu zetu wa Ma ya kwamba mataifa imewatambua. Kuna shirika linaitwa UNESCO imetambua baadhi ya mambo mnayoifanya. Moja hapo ikiwa ni zile practice zetu. Waliweza kuangalia na wakaona pengine huenda zikadidimia katika kuishi kwetu.
President William Ruto made calls to the pastoralist community to accelerate environmental conservation efforts and join the rest of the country in tree planting towards the 12 million trees milestone.
Mimi nataka vile vile niseme ya kwamba mbali na kupanga yale mambo mengine mengi yote, culture hii imewezekana kwa sababu mumelinda na mumetunza mazingira katika sehemu zenu, hasa katika counties hizi zetu 3.
The Ma Culture Week kicked off Saturday last week in a ceremony of transition of over 5,000 Morans in the country to adulthood. The cultural festival will close curtains on Thursday later this week, and following President Ruto's decree, is set to be marked every year without fail and all over the country as a national celebration. Munaneweru, KUTV.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua on Tuesday invited leaders from Ukambani region to work with the Kenya Kwanza administration. Gachagua says that President William Ruto's government will not discriminate against leaders and communities because of political affiliation. He had attended the burial of Mama Anne Kaleche Musau, the mother of Mwala Member of Parliament Vincent Musyoka, where he assured the residents of the government's commitment to complete projects and initiate others in the region in a bid to better their lives.
I look forward to a day these leaders will lead this community into government. President William Ruto and I are ready and waiting. Tumefungua milango. Tafadhali njoo. Kujeni tufanye kazi pamoja. Let us dignify this community. Hawa kama kuna mtu amekosea, ni watu wazuri, ni watu wako na bidii. Ni kupotezwa tu wamepotezwa na viongozi. So let us try to guide a community in the proper way.
Now, through a partnership with the Office of the Deputy President and the National Syndemic Diseases Control Council, that is NCDCC, 1,000 religious leaders from across faiths have undertaken a training that involved officers and experts from National Syndemic Diseases Control Council, NACADA, National Association Supply Cooperative, Judiciary, Police Service, and the Kenya Prison Service. In a statement, the spouse of the Deputy President called on mothers to encourage their children to stop use of drugs and substance abuse, and at the same time stating the need of looking after the boy child to save the future generation.
We have young men and boys who do not have what it takes to be able to honor, to respect, and to be able to function
in a society or in the community. And this one, it does not matter which community, whether they are white or black, whether they are Christians, they are Hindus or Muslim, they are behaving the same.
In other news, Murang'a Governor Irungu Kang'ata has directed all medical superintendents working in the local health facilities to step down as he moves to reorganize his administration in order to address the various concerns in the health sector, including persistent complaints of lack of medicine. The governor said that the chief officer in charge of health will issue a notice inviting applications for doctors interested to act as medical superintendents in the respective hospitals.
Murang'a Governor Irungu Kang'ata has today ordered all medical superintendents in the county to step down in his new move to implement changes made in his administration.
All medical superintendents in our level 4 and level 5 hospitals are hereby directed to step down from 7th of September 2023. The chief officer in charge of health will issue a notice tomorrow inviting applications for doctors interested to act as medical superintendents.
The governor has also reshuffled county executive committee members in departments of public service and lands, a move that has seen county executive member James Gatuna of public service and Winnie Mwangi of lands swap roles.
CC Public Service James Gatuna moves from Public Service Department to Lands Department. Dr. Winnie has been moved from Lands to Public Service Department. Number 2, Chief Officer Angela Kioko has moved to Education. Kennedy Kehato has moved to Department of Culture. And Isaac Karoga has moved to Health Services.
The governor further says that future deployment of medical superintendents shall be subjected to a suitability test that will be conducted internally by a committee in consultation with the Office of the County Secretary and the County Executive Committee member in charge of health.
In the health sector, the county has decided that the future deployment of medical superintendents will have to undergo a suitability test conducted internally by a committee in consultation with the county secretary and the CEC in charge of health.
At the same time, the governor has also called on the police and other administrations to help the county government combat alcoholism.
It's worth noting that the Murang'a County government has not licensed any wines and spirit shops, as we are awaiting advisory from provincial administration and manufacturers regarding legitimate dealers. We urge the police, provincial administration and courts to take action against anyone selling alcohol without license.
This comes at a time when the government is putting efforts to better the health sector through the universal health coverage in the country. Dorothy Musyoka, KUTV.
All right, we are taking a very fast short break at this point. Of course, we're coming back with an interview. Stay with us.
We are all seeing the impacts of climate change. In Kenya, for example, the frequency of the floods is becoming more and worse. The amount of people and livestock we're losing.
The level we need to go is a level where the normal mwananchi and also the government stakeholders can uptake these solutions.
Those small acts multiplied by millions of us will help make a difference in the world at the end of the day.
It's just a slight behavior change that we need, and you'll find that it serves us a bit more than you put in. And that's the goal. We want to live a better world than we found. Because at the rate we are going, it's dire.
We will secure the planet for future generations.
technology, science, innovation, ICT, and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient, and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Tech Innovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
What's up, fashionistas? Looking for a show that brings you the latest in the world of fashion, glamour, creativity, and style? Fashion Diaries got you started as we explore street fashion, modeling, runways, red carpet events, and so much more.
Catch me, Ashley and Sachi, as we unlock the greatest fashion events. Keep it locked.
Loving husband and father. Nothing is too good for my daughter. An ambitious businessman with a dark secret. A girl with a whole life in front of her, plunging into a marriage that she did not choose with the wrong man.
I'm not ready to marry Zima.
But who is the right one? I love Nambi. A rock star, living the dream. But the babes keep chasing me, I guess. It ain't easy being famous. Especially with so many glamorous women around. A woman hell-bent on revenge.
You will pay.
Seductive, dangerous. She is a predator. Everybody needs it. Everybody wants it. They will do anything to get it. Love and wealth.
All right, welcome to the broadcast. You're watching KUTV Primetime News, and of course, it's time for a discussion of the night. Like I had hinted earlier, we're talking about varsity education cost after the new funding model had been introduced by the Education Party by the Party on Education Reforms. And in studio tonight, I'm joined by Nick Mwadime, that is the National Executive Director, Mount Kenya MKUSA, rather, and Teddy Odhiambo, that is President Kenyatta University Association, to talk about just how this model maybe has the implications it has in institutions. Gentlemen, welcome to KUTV.
Thank you.
I know Teddy is home. Maybe Mwadime, karibu sana.
Yes, thank you so much, Anne. It's good to be home also.
I want to start with you now. Let me start with Teddy. Teddy, this model, what implication does it have on your students?
Sorry. Thank you, Anne, for this time. I know I'm home representing the comrades and the larger Kenyatta University fraternity and the whole body of students. The implications are so many, and I don't think I'll get enough time to talk about them. But it is first of great significance to mention that the whole idea of the new funding model is a good one, but it has a few, cons that needs to be talked about. Of course, we have seen a surge in fees that has never been seen in the Republic of Kenya. Right now, it is actually 5 times what the students used to pay. Accommodation fees has gone up. Food prices in different universities has gone up. And so we really need to have a discussion about this.
Has it actually gone up for all the universities, or you're speaking from a point of
yes. Yes, from a point of know-how and information, it is across all universities in Kenya.
Madime,
yes.
What's your take
on
the new funding model?
This is where I will start, Anne. Last year, 2022, 881,416 students sat for their KCSE. About 768,624 have been placed in different institutions. 69 in 69 universities, 210 TVETs, and about 3 teaching practices institutions. Now, my worry is this, and because on a sad note, because I represent students from Mount Kenya, sent here by my national chairman, Honorable Faris Jen. Last week, we did a press conference at Kasarani, whereby we were telling the government that we are ready for dialogue and to talk about this infringing fee, infringing university models, as Mr. President is saying here. It's very, very, very sad. Comrades are calling from all over the country. Sad, and filled with a lot of anxiety, filled with a lot of frustration. They don't know where to start. Parents are sad because a parent who was used to fundraise for 30,000 shillings, you're telling that parent that come September, the fee is about 5 times, 6 times to 7 times. I did chemical engineering at Technical University of Kenya.
Right.
I remember we were with you, Anne, at some point. My fee at that point of time was 30,000 in a year. Currently, if you walk to Tuk, look at the fee statement, it's crazy. Because where on earth will a parent get 300,000?
Is this affecting the continuing students or the students that are set to join universities next week?
Well, and that is where we have a problem with, because the government is using a divide and conquer rule. Because if you tell Teddy today, this fee increment is not going to affect you, why will Teddy bother? But me as a new student coming from home, I have to struggle. But one thing that people have to know, whether we postpone it now or tomorrow, sooner or later, it will be my brother, it will be my sister, it will be our children, right? So we cannot run away from it at any point. And we want to tell this government that they're not going to use that scheme to divide comrades.
Teddy, you are a continuing student at the moment. How is this whole entire model now changing what you're used to? Now that is it changing anything from what you're used to? In terms of capitation, maybe?
In terms of capitation?
Yeah.
Okay. There is something that we really need to note, that the government has spoken about scholarships to students.
Right.
Then there are also the part of loans. You remember the government was using the differentiated unit costs, the DUC. And the main problem that arose from the same was underfunding of the universities. Now take a look. The student has paid the 7%, that is household, yeah?
Yeah.
Then the loans or the help has given its part. Then we are remaining with some percentage, that is scholarship. Let's say there is no help and there is no scholarship, because from the past or recent happenings, around 140,000 students failed to receive help. Now in this situation, the government has not remitted any amount to the university. Now the student has done his or her part. Who will be at risk? Our universities. So sooner or later, we will be witnessing deaths of our universities more than what we had witnessed earlier before. Yes.
When now the government, this funding model has been categorized into four, that is the vulnerable, the extremely needy, the needy, and the less needy.
Yes.
Don't you think this is actually an advantage to now, in the sense of creating now education parity in the country?
I think I will, before I allow President, I'll first answer that question. Anne, on Friday last week, private universities chancellors met at Kabarak University. They were very much worried that 9,622 students placed in these institutions, around 20 institutions, private institutions, that they are supposed to go into this new model, right? We're talking about just public institution. This cuts across both public and private institution. We're talking about the less needy, the vulnerable, or whatever model the government wants to use. But to me, in my own view, this is just a scheme to confuse parents and the comrades, right? Because I will tell you, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Stephen of Kwea, and the Vice Chancellor, Management University of Kenya, they themselves said it. They don't understand this model. If professors themselves don't understand this model, if parents themselves don't understand this model, if comrades themselves don't understand this model, and I ask you this evening, who is understanding this model? Understand? Then there's a huge crisis. Because right from onset, Teddy was not called, I was not called, my national chairman was not called to have this conversation, right? They are
Is that
creating,
right?
yeah,
I see you shaking your head.
it's right, impunity.
All right.
They are creating and they are planning for our future without involving us.
What do you think, if you would have been brought into the conversation, what you would have changed and maybe said that this is right and this is not right in the interest of the comrades now?
Well, when I'm planning for your future, or I'm planning for my future and you bring me on the table, I'm able to raise some claims. Teddy talked about food, talked about accommodation. If these fees is very hectic, now imagine the depression rate as it is in the country, right? We're going to have a very serious depression rate in the next coming year. We're going to have so many students, first time in history, having not going to university. And we know that the quickest way to have poverty in a country is not when you don't take your children to school. Yes.
Teddy, I want to hear your opinion from that. Maybe if you would have been brought into this conversation before this, of course, this funding model, what would you have done different?
From the look of things, the government comes out as people of goodwill, and the demands or some of the things we would have requested to be done is, number one, make help a grant and not a loan. Two, we would have said there is no need for a student finishing 4th year.
Just before you go further, when you say help to be made a grant and not a loan, already there is a government grant, a scholarship. So is it possible for these two really to be made grants?
Yes, it is. It is.
Why not one? Why not the government only grants and then now help? But I get your point. Yes.
But Anna, I want to agree with Teddy. But before we get to the
just hold on to your point, Teddy. You
yes.
had a point. We're coming back to that.
Before we go there to the issue about grant, let's be very realistic. And right now, we seriously know there's a problem with jobs, right? We are talking about help. We're talking about government loans, right? I'm done with 4 years in university, right? What is the government planning? Am I supposed to start with negative 2 million? You see, that's a whole crisis. Because if I start at negative 2 million, it means there's a high possibility I'm not going to reach at 40 years old. Because how many comrades can afford 2 million as it is by the end of their 4th year? If right now comrades are saying to Nainama, Teddy leads a whole majestic university, Kenyatta University, he gets calls every day. And I know he has a kit whereby he has to sponsor few comrades here and there, right? Now imagine if Teddy is not there. Imagine if we student leaders are not there. What happens to our comrades, right? What happens to our parents? And you see, it is very sad. And it's a very sad day. We were having a conversation earlier with Teddy that in a very schemy and fishy way, the burden has been shifted from the government to our parents and comrades, right? And in also to some extent, you know, I was speaking earlier, Teddy, to few comrades from where I come from, Technical University of Kenya. They're telling me some of these vice chancellors are planning even to introduce their own fee structures. Now, who's going to moderate that? And I ask you this.
Their own fee structures, is that really correct information, Wadime?
Yeah. And you see, you see,
you're saying they're telling you that some of these vice chancellors are planning to come up with these the new fee structures. Have they been?
Because
where are they getting this from?
You see, Anne, let me tell you something. What you need to understand here tonight. What the government is doing is empowering parastatals, universities as it is, right? The shifting has been moved from government to institution. Right? There's a very thin line whereby if I'm a vice chancellor, for example, in my own university, right, I can come up with my own fee structure. Who will moderate that? Who will know that? Because at the same time, if there's a slight increment of the fee, right, Teddy, I ask you, my brother, how is it that me and you are going to moderate that?
All right, Teddy, you were telling us about what you would have done different.
So apart from the help being made a grant, number two, you cannot move from one failure expecting to be successful in the next. And we have had historical challenges. We have had the COH team. We've had Gachati and all that. We came to DUC. Now from DUC, we are coming to VSLF, the variable scholarship and loans funding. I think it was important that they know the challenges that they underwent, rectify the challenge, then move with a lot of speed, significantly. Because the amount of money you're saying you're going to offer through scholarships, why don't you use or redirect those amounts of money to fund universities?
We're coming back to that point. Let's, after this short break, we're coming back so that you can tell us more about your views on what you would have done better if you were part of that conversation after this break.
you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
First time?
Yeah, I'm kind of scared, but I can do this. Mess with me. Yeah, let's do this, man.
Adventures across the African continent.
See breathtaking wildlife, stunning landscapes,
and out of this world technology.
Meet incredible scientists
and learn fantastic facts.
Explore, discover, be amazed.
Be part of the next generation of African change makers.
Be a part of Engine, Africa's #1 science discovery program. Yay!
We're learning every day.
Welcome back to the broadcast. And before we went live on how we were talking, before we went for that short break, we were having a discussion on the varsity education course with Kenyatta University President Teddy Odhiambo and Nick Mwadime, that is National Executive Director MKUSA. And Teddy was telling us what he thinks would have been done better if they were made part of that conversation and the funding model. Teddy.
Yeah, so just to pick it from where I left, I was talking about ensuring that you first look at the mistakes that were done before you come up with a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was about underfunding of the universities through the DUC. So if that was the case, why should you now promise huge amounts of money amounting to 93% per student, yet you failed to fund the university using the differentiated unit cost?
Mm-hmm.
Because with the DUC, we were looking at the number of students per school, the type of course you are doing, gender, and
mm-hmm.
all that. Mm-hmm. So I think there is trickery.
Mm-hmm.
I am quite certain.
Trickery to who specifically? Who are they tricking?
They are tricking the people of Kenya. And the people of Kenya
mm-hmm.
are the parents, the students themselves,
mm-hmm.
even the professors. It is very really annoying
mm-hmm.
that the government is even lying to professors. You see that? So just as I was saying, it is the universities that shall have the problem. I know the 7%, we are capable. The students will, the parents will toil and moil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they will toil and moil to ensure that their children are studying.
Mm-hmm.
But what if the government does not actually implement their part? which is 93%.
The two of you are unison that you say this is a charm. I don't know if that is the word you used
Yes.
to parents and students. Teddy, you say the entire nation. What do you think the best communication model that should be used to provide clarity for this funding model?
In my view, I think where it all started beating us, where the rain started beating us, because this is a government that walked into promising young people things that are not achievable, right? This is a government that told many comrades that you'll be receiving free education, right? From the lowest level. Right now, we are looking at a fee structure, for example, medicine student at UN, private, let me talk about private institution or private student who was paying an amount of 380 in a year, right? The fee has gone higher to around a figure of 712. So we question all these things that they are telling us, from one lie to another, from one deception to another. And it's very sad that we see an institution whereby it's supposed to be protecting the young people, protecting our future, right? If our future is a pipe dream to them, we want to tell them it is not. Yes.
Teddy, you're somebody in the ground right now. Now, what concerns or feedback are you getting from students now in terms of this shift from the government-funded education to grants and loan-based model? How are you addressing now these concerns?
Okay. Just to connect it, you are asking that what is the best way of communicating this information. There is no best way you can communicate around information. And so we have been called to forums, we have been invited to meetings, but the problem began at the conception of the whole idea. There are not no students nor the student leaders. And if at all they will say there are student leaders, then there are those who have actually denounced graduation. They don't want to graduate, you know. Or if at all they graduated,
why don't they want to graduate?
They want to still be where now Teddy is, democratically. You need to have your time. Even Teddy will just retire when his time comes. Yeah, and so we have tried to handle the whole issue of new funding model. For sure, there is immense clamor amongst the souls and spirits of the comrades. Our parents are crying. Right now, I can attest, and there is a testimony. Many parents and many students who are yet to join first year have called me, crying. Today, I had one calling me that, you know, we are trying to apply for help, scholarship, they are not going through. I have just given some hope, a morsel of hope to that parent that, you know, just bring your student to school and the government will provide the scholarship. So this is really burdening the student leaders. It is really burdening me. You have to know I'm heading now all students, you know, in the Republic of Kenya under the umbrella called Comrades of the Republic of Kenya movement. And I want to tell you that it is huge, and maybe the reaction from the students might be bad towards the government.
Modime.
Yes.
I want to get your opinion on, still on this funding model, maybe what changes do you now anticipate in terms of the overall quality of education after this model?
Well, I want to agree with Teddy because having a government whereby their method is commonly known as trickery, right? They want to trick comrades, they want to trick parents of comrades, right?
Maybe you're saying trickery or trick.
Yes.
It's so clear. I want you to tell us how.
It's a software.
Maybe they won't take it lightly, so I want you to tell us, Zenda, what you mean when you say the government is tricking students.
Anne, because this government has one challenge, right? They perceive themselves to be more brilliant and to take advice from anyone, right? And because I know both Teddy and myself have been called to so many forums, but they don't want to take advice from anyone. They don't want to be guided. They don't want to guide themselves, right? So there's no better way to guide these people.
And actually, if I could add, trickery, so that we are not sued after
Yes,
this.
yes, please.
Trickery is bringing something for the students without involving the students.
Yes.
So it is trickery. Why didn't you involve us from the initial stages of that particular idea?
Do you think there's hope maybe for you as student leaders and representatives now to be involved in this day and time?
As a matter of fact, Anne, last week Thursday, when my national chairman, Faris Jen, was reading his press statement, we told this government, we're giving them a 1 month notice, right? We are down to 3 weeks, right? Teddy knows that comrades are not monopolized to Article 37. We have not forgotten to go to the street, right? If they fail to hear our plea, me and Teddy are very much ready.
We will have a national mourning day for comrades.
All right.
For the death of our future.
Right, but there's also an uproar of now those who are eligible now to qualify for the HELP loans. And 17-year-olds joining campus cannot qualify for this, but the lending the HELP has clarified that once a student gets to 18 years old, they will be eligible to apply for that loan. What do you make of that?
The problem is one, that we are now bringing the legal part into education. We know that for any loans to be eligible, or for one to be eligible for a loan and all that, we need credentials, and one of them is a national ID. But this is a very different case. This is a student. I've studied hard, but I'm just young, you know. So should I be punished for being young and heading to the university? It is really wrong. And so something has to be done, but unless the government doesn't want students to study. You know, we have been pushed to the walls to this extent that the fees are high, everything is high. Then again, it is not enough. We are being denied the access to loans, the HELP loans that we are still going to repay. It is quite punitive.
Nick, and this is your parting shot. I'm being told we need to wind up.
Yes. To add something what Teddy is saying, so many students that come to universities, some of them are below 17 years or up to 17 years old. You tell this person, for you to access help, you need an ID, right? Surviving 1 year without money in Nairobi or in the streets of university is chaotic, right? And they are pushing comrades to do things that they don't want to do. Yes.
As your closing remarks, just a very few seconds, each one of you, still talking about this age limit. What do you recommend should be done to ensure that these under 18 years old of age joining campus are also catered for when it comes to getting these loans? Nick?
Yesterday, while I was having a conversation with my national chairman, he told me something very specific, Honorable Faris Jen, that the government cannot escape its cardinal role of offering education to all of us because it's both a basic need and a basic want. Transferring this role to comrades is not acceptable at all, and it is immoral, it's unethical, and if comrades deem it fit, it's unconstitutional.
Teddy, your closing remarks.
My closing remarks is to the government. Please have some kind of sympathy to our comrades, to our students. They are your children, and we are your children. And I would like to say that we are in a nation where we need to now focus on development, and that is all. And the comrades do not want to go the other way. But if compelled, then there could be an official mourning day for the death and timely death of our future.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time for us tonight. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
That is Teddy Odhiambo, the President, Kenyatta University, and Nick Mwadime, that is the National Executive Director, KUSA. We're taking a very short break at this point. Of course, so much more lined up for you. Stay with us.
Focus on Health is a show that creates awareness on matters health and informs you on various diseases, their causes, treatment, prevention, coping, and support. So join me, Bari Michelle, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. only on KUTV. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at KUTV Focus on Health on Facebook and also on YouTube, and Health Focus on Instagram, because your health is your wealth. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Hello everyone, this is the new chapter of Let's Be Fit. I'll be host DiCaplo. I'm here to give you various workouts. I'll be having different trainers. We'll have Zumba classes, we'll have aerobics classes, we'll have box exercise, we'll have kata box, just from 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. Keep it locked, make sure we keep fit, and that's it from me to you.
All right, welcome back to the broadcast. You are watching KUTV Prime Time News. Let's continue with our coverage. Now, running battles were earlier today witnessed in Kirinyaga County, where the county's woman representative Jane Jerry incurred head injuries that had her airlifted to Nairobi for medical emergency after she was roughed up by goons at a political function. Investigations into the incident are ongoing, as Julie Ongaki reports.
There was a commotion at Kerugoya DCI headquarters after a group of people disrupted Kirinyaga women representative Jane Jerry as she addressed the media outside. The group descended on the supporters of Jerry and Baragwi MCA David Mathenge, kicking and chasing them away. The area OCS, however, managed to calm the situation before the resumption of the presser. Jerry condemned the action, terming it shameful to beat women and children who are looking for their rights. She further alleged that there is a political witch hunt in the county, targeting a number of MCAs.
Walikuwa wamesema ya kwamba tulileta fujo na tukaweza kufungua na kuharibu mali, lakini tulipoingia pale kwa DCI tukaona ya kwamba hawana any legal basis ya kusema ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Mathenge alikuwa amefanya chochote kuharibu maji ya wale watu wa pale Makindoni.
Mathenge on his part said the water project he opened is a public property and has been closed for over a year without a reason.
Maji ambao umefungia watu mwaka moja na nusu, maji ambao unataka kulipisha hiyo community, na ni community water project ambayo inafaa kuwa free kwa sababu tulitenga na pesa yetu ya county na sisi tunalipa ushuru. Wao umesema atitafungwa, lakini sisi tunasema ukwambia hata mtupeleke wapi, sisi tuko tayari na tutatetea watu wetu wa Kanyekine na Kirinyaga mzima bila uoga.
National Assembly Minority Leader Ompio Wandayi has condemned the incident, calling for an urgent investigation. Julie Ongaki, KUTV.
All right, Kiambu County, in partnership with various organizations, organized a Children's Home Fun Day today, an event that brought together around 16 children homes across the county. According to children officers from the county, the day was aimed at integrating the children, promoting their talents, as well as advocate for their inclusivity in the society.
Hundreds of children from orphanages in Ruiru and Juja sub-counties have today been treated to a fun day by the Kiambu County government, an event that saw loads of children from various homes flood the tall primary school field. The children engaged in various activities including dancing, athletics, tug of wars, and other unifying games. According to some of the heads of the children homes, the day was aimed at integrating the children from different homes, promote their talents, and also create a space for them to bond, as well as have a change of environment away from the confined walls of their orphanages.
Tulionelea maana wale watoto huwa tunakaa na wao pale wamefungiwa. Tulionelea ni vizuri tuje na wao ili watangamane na wengine, kwa sababu katika kutangamana kuna mambo ambayo wanajifunza, tabia, mienendo ambayo inawasaidia katika maisha ijayo.
Hii forum ina prove watoto wa children's home si ati wako na shida inawafanya wasikuwe human. So county government kama wangeorganize such an event na walete other children, watoto wengine, si lazima kuwa children's home, au watoto wenye wako children's home na wenye wako nje wa interact, ndio hata wa children's home wa feel part of the family.
Apart from the county, other organizations also took part in organizing the event. Rosemary Wanjiru from the Holistic Families, an organization that deals with child protection, tells us that having events like this will give the children a sense of belonging.
You know, look at them right now, the happiness and even feeling that they belong in a place. You know, there is some time you can belong to a children's home and feel so much secluded, but being exposed in this kind of environment, it makes them to feel like they have a community that is vast.
According to the children officers from both Juja and Ruiru, it is their hope that the county government will be involved in such events so as to include more children homes across the county.
It's good the national to recognize them and acknowledge their work, especially some are struggling financially. And as we're advocating to take them back to the community, to their families, or to care reform, it's good, of course, funding.
Because we believe for a child to grow normally, they need a family, a home, a place to call home, instead of being gathered in one institution.
Although today's event lit a flicker of hope for the children homes in Kiambu County, a lot still needs to be done to fully grant these children a sense of belonging.
Now, having a home and a family is the most important thing to a child when growing up. Now, this event not only provides that, but also provides a sense of belonging and inclusivity. Ruth Wanjiru for KUTV, Kiambu County.
All right, now let's take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. World and Olympics 1500 meters champion Faith Kipyegon will be chasing a third straight world title at the 2023 World Athletics Championships in Budapest, Hungary from 10:30 p.m. Kenyan time. Kipyegon will compete in the 1500 meters race alongside compatriot Nelly Chepchirchir and will also compete in the 5000 meters race on Saturday. Kipyegon will tonight compete against Olympics 10,000 and 5,000 meters champion Sifan Hassan of the Netherlands and 2018 World Under-20 champion Diribe Walteji of Ethiopia. Harambee Stars are set to play the Qatar national team in an international friendly match on September 7th in Doha. Kenya and Qatar have never played against each other before, and it will be interesting to see how this encounter turns out, since the Indian Virat Kohli Stars are ranked 105th according to world rankings, while Qatar are ranked 59th. Harambee Stars are set to play against the South Sudan national team in Nairobi at a later date to be announced. And finally, Arsenal secured their second win of the season after Martin Odegaard penalty in the 57th minute was enough to seal all 3 points for the Gunners against their rivals Crystal Palace in a London derby played at the Selhurst Park. Arsenal were awarded a sport kick after striker Edin Ketia was fouled in the 18-yard box and skipper Martin Odegaard put in a nice finish. Mikel Arteta's team was, however, reduced to 10 men after defender Takeru Tomiyasu was shown a red card in the 67th minute for a foul on Crystal Palace, but showed resilience to win the game. Arsenal have 6 points and are tied with defending champions Manchester City and Brighton, who have won both their opening matches.
Erdegaard, classy penalty into the corner.
He has a big decision to make here, and it is a second yellow card for Takehiro Tomiyasu, and Arsenal are down to 10.
It's exactly 10 p.m. Thank you so much for keeping us company right here at KUTV Primetime News. Be sure to join me again next week, inshallah, for Bullet, to keep you updated on everything that is taking center stage. But until then, be sure to stay tuned for subsequent bulletins. That will be tomorrow with Dennis Omondi and Joseph Cass for Primetime News and Mizizi ya Habari. My name is Ann Odida. I'm in the company of Ivan Sudhiambo, a sign language interpreter tonight. Have a good night and see you next week, inshallah.